Imagine a city full of life-crowded markets, echoing with bargaining voices. Children running through narrow stone streets, artisans hammering bronze tools under the sun, priests chanting prayers inside towering temples. A city that rose from dust to become a shining center of trade, culture, and innovation. And then, in a single night, vanished. No farewell, no warning, no survivors to tell the tale, just ruins, sealed in silence. Tonight, we step into the story of the lost city that disappeared overnight. A city that lived, thrived, and then collapsed so suddenly that time itself seems to have frozen its final moments. Before it fell, this place was a marvel. Archaeologists believe it stood at a crossroads of ancient trade routes, where caravans carrying copper, gems, spices, and fine textiles flowed like lifeblood through its gates. The people built their homes from carved stone blocks and sun-baked bricks. Their streets were laid out with careful planning, arranged in straight lines, with a drainage system so advanced that modern engineers still admire its ingenuity. Walking through these ruins today, you can almost imagine the bustling morning's merchants unlocking their shops, farmers bringing baskets of grains and dates, potters displaying freshly shaped clay vessels glistening in the sun. Life here was vibrant. Families gathered in courtyards for meals cooked over small clay hearths. Children practiced writing on tablets, copying symbols that represented their language, their identity. Temples stood tall with carved altars where priests performed rituals to honor gods of rain, fire, agriculture, and protection. Festivals must have transformed the city into a sea of color. Drums, dances, and offerings carried through the streets. Their civilization was not merely surviving, it was thriving. And like all thriving societies, they believed their prosperity would last forever. But beneath this confidence, subtle signs of danger had already begun to appear. The ground trembled from time to time, small shakes, barely noticeable, just enough to rattle hanging lamps or cause ripples in water jars. People likely shrugged them off, dismissing them as ordinary movements of the earth. Yet to modern scientists, the pattern of these tremors suggests the early stages of a much larger seismic shift. Then came the weather changes. Seasons that once followed reliable patterns began acting unpredictably. A year of generous rains was suddenly followed by a year of harsh drought. The river, once steady and life-giving, swelled with violent currents in one month and shrank almost to a trickle the next. Farmers whispered that their crops were dying faster than before. Animals behaved strangely, birds migrating early, dogs howling at night without reason, and cattle refusing to drink from certain wells. At the time, these were viewed as superstitions or random events. But today, scientists interpret them as ecological warnings. Trade, the city's lifeline, also began to falter. Caravans arrived late. Foreign merchants reported landslides blocking mountain paths, unusual storms destroying travel routes, and even stories of nearby settlements abandoned without explanation. Rumors spread of omens seen in the sky, strange lights, unfamiliar cloud rings, and stars disappearing behind unnatural haze. Still, daily life continued. Humans, by nature, adapt even when danger slowly approaches. The people continued their rituals, their work, their celebrations. After all, the city had survived for centuries. Why would it fall now? And then came the night everything changed. Historians believe it began shortly after sunset. Families were inside their homes, eating supper, sharing stories, settling their children to sleep. The lanterns flickered softly against the stone walls. It must have been a peaceful night until the earth began to groan. Not a gentle tremor, but a deep, violent shake that caused pots to crash, doors to swing open, and animals to cry out in terror. People rushed outside, confused and frightened, only to find the ground moving beneath their feet.
Oh, the shaking intensified.
Buildings swayed, walls cracked, and stone pillars collapsed with thunderous force. Some experts think a massive earthquake tore through the region. Others believe a volcanic eruption miles away sent shockwaves powerful enough to destroy the city. And some argue that both events may have occurred together in unstoppable chain reaction of nature's fury. Darkness swallowed the night as dust clouds rose into the sky. Ash or sand filled the air, making it nearly impossible to breathe. People tried to flee, but chaos surrounded them. Streets split open. Floodwaters surged in some areas, sweeping away anything in their path. Elsewhere, fires erupted as lamps toppled, igniting homes and market stalls. The city that glittered with life only hours earlier was now a battlefield of collapsing structures, rising waters, and suffocating debris. Archaeological evidence suggests many died instantly crushed under falling roofs or trapped in narrow alleyways. Others attempted to run toward the outskirts but were caught by landslides, floods, or falling stones. What makes this disaster even more chilling is the speed. The city did not collapse over weeks or days. It happened within hours, maybe even minutes. Everything stopped so abruptly that belongings were left mid-task. A half-carved sculpture, a pot boiling over fire, tools scattered as if dropped in panic. Footprints in drying mud end suddenly near destroyed walls. The story is carved into the ruins, even if no human voice survived to tell it. By dawn, the city was gone, buried, silent. A place that once hummed with laughter and life now lay crushed beneath layers of earth. Water, ash, or a mixture of all three. Survivors, if there were any, never returned. Maybe the land was cursed in their eyes. Maybe the destruction was too complete. Or perhaps nature struck again before they had a chance to rebuild. Whatever the reason, the city became a ghost forgotten by time, swallowed by the earth. For centuries, nature reclaimed it. Sandstorms buried its streets. Rain washed away its colors. Layers of soil covered its temples and homes. Entire generations lived and died without knowing a city rested under their feet. It wasn't until explorers and archaeologists accidentally uncovered strange stone formations that the truth began to emerge, and what they found stunned the world. Beneath the layers of time was a city frozen in its final moments. Roads still visible, walls still standing, chambers sealed with untouched artifacts inside. The sophistication of the drainage system amazed experts it was far ahead of its era. Pottery styles revealed a rich artistic culture. Jewelry and ornaments showed a society that valued beauty and craftsmanship. Tools and toys painted a picture of families who lived regular, relatable lives. You can almost imagine the people who once held these objects, unaware that a catastrophe was approaching. Yet the ruins also raised questions that remain unsolved today. Why were some parts of the city burned while others were drowned in silt? Why were so few human remains found? Why do some artifacts appear untouched as if someone planned to return but never did? Each new discovery leads to new mysteries. Some researchers believe the city experienced multiple disasters: first earthquakes, then floods. Others think survivors fled with their families and belongings, leaving behind only what they couldn't carry. Some theorists even propose that an ancient tsunami swept through part of the region, explaining the sudden layering of waterborne sediments. Even today, archaeologists continue their work with advanced technology. Ground-penetrating radar reveals hidden structures. DNA analysis helps identify where the people came from. Mineral samples uncover the forces that buried the city. Every year, we get a little closer to understanding the truth, but never fully. The city holds its secrets tightly. This lost city is not just a tragedy. It is a reminder of how fragile civilizations truly are. Even the strongest walls, the most advanced systems, the most prosperous societies can collapse in an instant when nature unleashes its power. And yet the city's ruins also remind us of resilience because their story did not vanish. It survived through stones, artifacts, and the curiosity of generations determined to uncover the past. As we walk through these silent streets today, we are not just seeing ruins. We are standing in the shadows of people who lived, dreamed, and hoped, just like us. Their final night may be lost to time, but their world continues to speak, whispering through broken walls, ancient inscriptions, and abandoned objects. And perhaps the greatest mystery of all is not how the city was destroyed, but how it still reaches us across the gulf of thousands of years, urging us to listen, to learn, and to remember.